Hello and welcome. I'm the Restless Kaiser.
And I'm Johnny B, but together we are Modelling for Advantage.
What we got here then, John?
It's another box, sir, and it seems to be...
Look at that, it's an unboxing video. We got a box.
The box. This is the M4 Sherman 4 detachment.
Soviet though, Soviet.
It is Sovietsky, and it's even got a little picture of the Berlin Soviet book on the back here, which is some dudes like storming the Reichstag.
With the flag and right that iconic photograph,
it does
right?
seem like that.
All right. Oh, we get the box open, it's sector, the cling fell off like pros. But what's in the box, John?
So I can tell you that by reading the words.
Tell them the words.
It contains one motor rifle, 4 detachment HQ, 1 Guards Hero mortar rifle company, 4 M4 Sherman 76 tanks, 3 T-70 45mm tanks, 3 Su-76 assault guns. They look quite tasty. 3 ZSU M17 self-propelled anti-aircraft, 3 Su-100s. Man, you get a lot of stuff in here. 2 Katyusha rocket launchers. Katyusha. Oh yeah, Katyusha. You get your rule book, you get your start here booklet, decals, and everything else. Let's
get this bad boy open. This is 1945.
This is the end, right?
Interestingly though, this has got a lot of Lend-Lease equipment in it. All right, let's do the great reveal. Here we go. Oh,
take that.
Everywhere. Skidoosh.
Right, nice and full, just how we like it.
Yep. Oh, you don't let me sniff the box, John. Don't keep it all to yourself.
Dibs.
I love that new box smell. All right, we'll take a moment to sort these piles out and we'll be right back. Boom.
First things first, look, there you go, boom. It's the start here booklet.
That iconic image.
That is iconic.
Soviets running into Berlin with the flag.
This dude has seen some action, man. He's all scarred up. You know, he's a veteran. Yeah, his face is messed up.
Oh, yeah. It's a nice iconic bit of art.
But these are cool, right? Because it's literally getting started.
Explodo
shows
diagrams.
you all the bits, Explodo diagrams, also like unit cards and all the bits and bobs.
Because there's a lot of different vehicles in here.
There's a lot of
like 7 of one and 2 of another.
No.
There's a lot of different things. With a strong kind of Lend-Lease component, which I think die-hard Soviets might not be so keen on. This is not like IS-2s and things like that.
This is not Soviet metagaming, is that what you're saying?
It might be. It's just that there's a lot of foreign imports, isn't there? And you don't see these in the propaganda videos.
No fans.
When you watch the sort of black and white footage World War II, the Soviet shot, you very rarely see.
It's all their iconic.
It'll all be their own stuff. Yeah. The reality of it is
most of it is Matilda's.
Most is probably strong, but a lot of it was shipped in from America, from Britain, and so forth. So what we're going to do, John will do the sprue waving, and I'll do the cards thing.
Yes, because you know, like, what this all means.
And maybe provide some very loose structure.
Very loose structure.
Very informal videos. So kind of the other bits is the decal sheets. You've seen these,
which are cool. Yeah,
they've got the Soviet stars, and then have they got tank numbers or slogans?
There is numbers and slogans.
And they're real sort of Russian words, James tells me.
I could not tell you
Russian.
What it says.
They're like, up yours, Nazi, and stuff like that, I think is essentially what they say. So interestingly, then, starts HQ cards, you have 2 options.
Okay.
So according to the box, this is an M4 Sherman 4 detachment HQ. But you have the option to replace the HQ tank with a 4 detachment motor rifle. So you can take 2 3-man bases of infantry instead of the tank.
Okay.
As an alternative. And this command card for the 4 detachment just says, check the other card for all the information about what units it actually has in it. So we'll pop this one to one side, but I like the fact that you can have a kind of a dismounted command group.
For
this rather than because it's what to do with that 1 HQ tank.
It just floats around, being a pain.
You don't want it to get shot. No, it's your colonel
but you need
or whatever.
It up there.
And sometimes it's a powerful vehicle. It's an important asset, right? So the M4 Sherman 4 detachment HQ. This is the new M4A2 sprue, but just talk a little bit about the card then. So these guys are late war, super late war. These are Russians. They've not got stats like you said. If you've played mid-war, these guys are pros. These guys have fought a lot of battles.
Oh, so they're a bit more wary, are they?
Well, they're not wary, no.
They're still crazy.
They're still crazy. So they're still aggressive, but they're not reckless. They're not hit on 2s anymore.
3+.
They hit on 3s. But they're their training level, so their motivation is confident for the HQ, but they've got not one step back, gives them a last stand rating of 3, and they've got protected ammo, gives them a last stand rating of 3. And again, their skill levels is trained rather than untrained or whatever. And they actually have a tactics, because of the crafty keyword, of 3 up. So yeah, the vehicle itself has got 7 front armor, which most of the later Shermans have got. I think the A1 is maybe a 6, so it's a little bit better than if you got the D-Day ones. Side and rear of 4, top of 1, and you get a single vehicle for the HQ if you don't take that other option. The gun on this one, we've got a 36-inch range, 2 and 1 for rate of fire, anti-tank power 12, fire of 3 up. But no HE. That's if you take the 76mm gun, which is the kind of anti-tank gun, or it's similar numbers but 28 and only 10 anti-tank if you have the 75mm. Points, you pay an extra point for the 76mm. In this list, I would definitely choose to take the 2 infantry stands.
Over having a tank?
Over having a 5-point tank that was important not to lose.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
because that's 2 infantry stands doing the same job.
They're pretty durable, right?
As long as you don't run them around in the opening for the machine guns, they don't die very easily. Whereas this thing's going to get popped by a panther or anything like that. If I can see it, I can kill it.
Pop.
Yeah. And you're not going to have the numbers. So, should we have a look at the sprue?
Yeah, definitely. There seems to be a couple of components here. And on the back there, it says what you can...
Yeah, so it's whether you have the 75 or
75 that's what it is there. So this is the 2014, it says. Here, have a look at that. Get your grubby mitts on that.
Yeah, so this is one of their earlier plastic sprues, and you can see it's quite complicated.
There's a lot of components on there, a lot of fiddly bits too.
You have seen this before. This is the M4A3.
No doubt. It does say that.
Tank. Now, so the interesting thing about this sprue is, in their current packaging, I think this only comes if you buy the howitzers arm tanks. There's an option for a 105mm gun on this.
Okay.
You've used them in a game.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't mean I remember it. So please carry on.
So this is, if you wanted, this sprue definitely comes in that kit. I don't know whether it comes in any other. So this is the M4A3 version, which the Americans used themselves in the Eastern Theatre.
This looks like quite a comprehensive kit, mate.
Yes.
Because I'm seeing all the bits on there, all the weapons you just mentioned.
The Collins hedge cutter and so forth. Because at this point, I don't think they had any other Shermans. So this is a very versatile sort of late war sprue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things. It is no more complicated to build than the other ones, though. You've got all of those really good features that you find on the sort of Battlefront stuff.
It's got all the keying.
You've got keying on the tracks, so you get the idler wheel on the right way round on it. The whole slots neat. There's a hole upper and lower. It just slots onto one another. The plate at the back. So, but you'll see you've also got quite a few different hatch designs.
Yeah.
So for your real rivet heads, there are. So like the Easy 8, John. You've come across the Easy 8. That's like the Fury tank. Yeah. So that's an M4A2E8. So there's E1 through 8 and more. There are many versions.
And these are all minor adjustments, aren't they? Like coffee percolator.
Well, some of them are quite significant. So the hatch types is one of the things that changes. And this is about combat experience more than anything else. It's like,
this is really awkward to open this way.
Exactly, to open this way. So you'll see, like, sometimes you'll find that they're very in-line early versions, and then later, turret hatches are often at funny angles. Is that that's often experience of the crew.
Okay.
From like where I am in this turret,
ergonomics.
The ergonomics of it mean if this hatch was at a 30-degree angle, it would be so much better to get out of. I'm not saying that's universally the case, but you see, like, hatch designs change a lot in different versions.
So does that account for a lot of the marks? Like, seriously, a mark, whatever, A3. No, we're not going that deep.
I'm telling you that the different marks will have different hatches in some
Amongst
cases, but
other
I'm not
things.
saying that's why they're
not-
different, Mark.
It's not the only reason.
That's not the only reason.
Okay.
So, but this is so. This though.
Yeah. What is this? This is definitely. I can tell it is
an
part of a Sherman.
alternative upper hull. So this is yet another Sherman variant that you can get from Battlefront, and I think this is about sort of completeness of range. So this is an A2.
Yeah.
And I believe the
This
difference.
is recent, man. This is 2022.
Yeah, this is brand new.
brand new.
Yeah. So this is the version of Sherman. So the A3s they generally use themselves. The A4s they gave to us, and the A2s they sent to the Russians.
Okay.
And the difference in the A numbers is generally about a plant of origin, and that means that the vehicle is quite different. So exactly where the engine is and what type of engine it is. So that's why they've given you a different upper hull for this, because it's essentially the same tank as the A3, but it has a different engine.
Right.
So if you compare the piece that you've got,
I mean, it seems the same length.
it looks very, very similar, right? And I think that it's great that they've done that, because for people that really care,
They're going to appreciate that.
the road speed, the performance, the armor thickness, the guns, they're all the same. But if you really want that, they have molded a different upper hull, and to the untrained eye, it looks exactly the same.
I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think. Thickness, it looks the same. It's got, there are a few details that are different on it, molded on.
And the other thing is, as I understand it, this is also the version that the US Marines used in the Pacific.
Yeah.
Now, they're not doing Pacific anytime soon, but that doesn't mean that people don't buy these model kits for use in ranges, create their own stats, whatever else. So yeah, this upgrade sprue is just an alternative upper hull for the A3 sprue, which some people will have lying around as well.
Sweet.
Yeah, this kit's been around for quite a while.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Built a bunch of these, had zero problems with them, and I think I'm right in saying there are two complete turrets, so you can make the 75 and 76 version. I don't know whether you get the two turret pegs.
Scanning.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do get them. So you've got two complete, and you've got your different gun options. So I was pretty sure
It's a very comprehensive.
I would encourage you to make the 105mm gun out of this, though. If you've got with that second turret, if you make the 76, because this is the only kit you're going to get that howitzer. That 105.
That option.
Yes,
give me that.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Right. So that's the Sherman M4A2, and that's the new thing in this box. That.
The A2 upper hull.
Yeah. No, very few other companies would do this. It's, from a gaming perspective, it's completely unnecessary. I love the fact that they've done this. They've molded a piece so you can have it. All right. So that's your M4 Sherman. And therefore, with that, then, the M4 Sherman company, which you have to have in this formation one, because Hero, whereas we might talk about veterans or something.
It's not their version of...
Yeah, but they brand the units as heroes. This is a hero formation. That gives you some sense of the flavour of the war for the Soviets, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know that there was a medal. So like here, like the Victoria Cross, the German Polar Mary, the Blue Max. Theirs is hero of the Soviet
It sounds
Union.
so much better.
It does. It's like, I am like a legit
I am a hero. Look,
I've got a bit of paper from the government says I'm a hero. Maybe the one has different connotations in Russian. I hope not, because it's awesome. So the hero ones, again, you've got these kind of superior stats, because they are, of course, still kicking out new units. There are a whole bunch of green guys in the Soviet army.
Well, yeah.
But these formations, in these armies that are encircling Berlin, these are the pros.
This is the experience.
These are the experienced guys, yeah. And so you're going to pay for it. So if you take the 76mm Sherman, you're paying 5 points a model, you can take 3 or 4 for 15 or 24 points.
Okay.
But it's a decent all-round tank. It's a decent, with 7 front armour, it's not great, but you're not paying for, 9 points of armour is still not great in this period.
Yeah, I was
Do you know what I mean?
Say, at this point of the war.
At this point, you're going to come up against a lot of high-velocity 75s and 88s.
Yeah.
You need a lot of armour before it's going to make a big difference on that.
For sure.
Certainly at the kind of closer range it is. And that 76mm gun with an anti-tank power of 12 can compete against most things. I'm not saying you would choose to, but you can fight Panther with this. You can definitely fight Tiger inside. So that it's a good all-round general purpose tank.
Good.
And you get how many of those? Was it?
You got 4 sprues. So obviously, depending on if you choose to take the one as the HQ element, then
yeah. So you can do 1 and 3, or
just 4 straight.
Just straight up 4. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. So what sprue do you want to do
next card. What you got? Actually, it's mostly best me choosing a sprue because you choosing a card and then me choosing sprue. What's that?
Well, so next mandatory thing is the Hero Guards Motor Rifle Company.
Oh, well, they're
which
the
is the
infantry.
infantry. So
I can do that.
So this is the same sprue. If I have a, Father Christmas wish from Battlefront, make more of your plastic infantry. I think they're beautiful sculpts.
These are plastic.
They're hard plastic. They're clean. They're dynamic, and they're great. I really like them, and I don't know anybody else that makes. There isn't that much plastic infantry in 15mm, and this is the best. And I'll sound a bit gushy because I really wish they would make more of it.
Okay, maybe your wish will be granted.
Well, maybe. I know that with the hard plastic infantry, the tooling is a problem. That's a lot more sophisticated a shape to cut out of a block of aluminium than a tank. In terms of the engineering, the level of precision there has to be to get a face, as opposed to a grill or a tube. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, big part of it.
So the Motor Rifle Company, again, Hero Guards, like all the big words.
These all look like heroes.
These guys are drenched in braid. If they were in modern South America, they'd all have like aviator glasses on, reflective and all of that. So for 8 and 12 points, you can have 7 or 10 teams. Now with these 2 sprues, I was able to make 8 bases of infantry because I am in the process of
building this.
Yeah, I've just built and based a set of these because we're getting ready to do some late war Soviet stuff.
One.
Yeah. I'm in the process of making up this army. So you can't quite make the 10 teams, but you also get a commissar. And the commissar...
Is that dude with the old
yeah, he's got a megaphone.
Or is it his buddy there?
No, so that's the officer. Whereas the commissar base... so the commissar comes with a special rule look. So when the commissar team is in command, the unit passes all motivation tests on a 3-up. And it shoots as if it's a DPMG team, just like the other bases. So it's just a little buff. So their motivation is confident 4-up anyway, because they're heroes, but they get the 3-up as long as a commissar base is alive. They hit on 3s, and that is a problem for infantry. Because even gone to ground, dug in, they hit on 5s, not 6s.
Which is achievable.
It's much more achievable, much more achievable. They're much more vulnerable to machine guns. Once you dig them in there, all right? And their skill level is 3-up. So unlike, again, early war Soviets, they're difficult to dig in because they're not good at it. Yeah, and you keep failing the skill test. And they've got the For the Motherland rule. These guys assault on a 2.
Oh!
So these are about...
These are up for it, man. They're well up this over.
They're well up for it. They're not SMG teams, so they've got that kind of... The rate of fire is only 2.
Right.
Not like 4s and 6s. 2 per base, moving or halted. So it's not great. We do have the option to give them Panzerfaust. Because they captured...
Nicking them on the way.
Yeah, they captured lots and lots of Panzerfaust. You get the option to give them the PTRD, the anti-tank rifle. That isn't on this sprue.
It's not, is it?
And it's not... I don't think it's worthwhile. There's almost nothing you can penetrate with that thing at this point in the war. Like armoured cars and stuff, you got a chance.
What about a Panzer II?
Oh, could you penetrate Panzer II? Definitely from the side. You get to make a dice roll, maybe. You also get to add the MMG teams, the Maxim gun,
which is iconic.
And that's an interesting little sculpt. You seen the way it works there, John?
It's 2-part. You slap it together side by side.
It's left right, not top bottom or front back. It's left right.
Or put the gun together and then try and position the little city down man on it. No. That's quite good, that. And you've got a loader dude beside with a big old box of ammo. And that's, again, about that sort of injection molded plastic. They have to keep it as flat as possible. Yes.
So that the way that the materials flow, I think. Or the rate that they cure as well is also important.
I'm just impressed with the commissar and his big old... He's got a pistol as well, just to make sure that you are motivated naturally.
And it's the Warhammer fan in you loves the commissar model,
course,
right?
Naturally.
Now, I actually don't think there was a political officer for every platoon of guys by this point in the war.
I'm sure they were where they needed to be. Really?
Because they realised that these people were making
demoralised.
They were making bad decisions.
Because they're not military.
Yeah. So what the original purpose of the political officer was he had to agree with the commander. So when the commander says, "Right, everybody, up you get, go and attack that trench," the political officer turned around and said no.
Why?
Because that's what he was there to do. So he couldn't give orders, but he could stop.
He could veto.
He was supposed to keep the other guy in line and keep him, all Soviet and everything. And of course, they're just paralysed.
Just by all this bureaucracy and...
Yeah. The last thing you want in a battlefield is a man stood next to you with a veto.
Yeah, I don't think we'll look that good.
How am I going to lead?
I don't think we'll look that good if we run at the enemy like we're meant to.
So they weren't all gone, but they were they're nothing like what they were before. And I think they were much more got into that, like, we're here for propaganda.
Yeah.
So one of the things that the Soviets had encouraged their troops to do was to keep a diary. Not a diary like, dear diary, today I ate 4 beans and a pea and an ounce of bread.
Wow, yum.
A diary of all of the wicked things that the Nazis had done to them and that they'd heard that the Nazis had done to other people, and to keep a record of it.
Really?
Yeah. So by the time they got to Germany, these guys were pretty...
They're looking through...
Because they'd moved through Nazi-occupied Eastern Europe.
Some horrific stuff.
They'd seen it, yeah. I mean, back home, maybe their home had been turned over or whatever, maybe. But by the time they got to here, they were seeing the Holocaust, right, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Because they wanted to make it personal for the Soviet infantryman. They wanted him to really hate them.
Wow.
Which would keep them going through this brutal fight. Because
what's coming is going to be brutal.
Yeah. This battle for Berlin, it's not a joke. It is a Soviet rollover, but a lot of Soviets die.
Yeah.
This is a big battle with a lot of casualties. But this Soviet soldier is so motivated by this point, in a total belief that he's fighting a righteous war. Yeah. So the kind of post-Stalingrad political officers were much more about that. Right. I think people
subtly.
Not subtle, but we're not interfering with chain of command stuff. Yeah. Generally speaking. Yeah. That's not a universal thing. But anyway, so you get an infantry platoon in this. It's lovely. You can make the 7-base platoon and the 2 Maxim guns, and I think you're going to have enough pieces left over to make, if you wanted to take that foot detachment.
The HQ, yeah.
Yeah, and then have the 4 tank platoon.
That's cool.
Really nice models. I'll get you a photo of where I'm up to with mine. I mean, they're just based and they're not.
Yeah, but you can see them.
Sprayed, yeah, but you can see. And they're so easy to clean up as well. The connections are minimal. There's usually if you've got a file, they're usually attached at the head, not like on hands or rifle or something where you're going to find it really difficult to clean afterwards.
Yep. Okay.
And the base is just get a sanding block, rub it a couple of times across the sanding block, and the base is flat. After you use your clippers. Right. Sweet.
I'm going to have a look through the sprues and we'll see what's next.
What you got, Jay Bizler? What's next?
Next one in front of me is the SU-76.
SU-76, so on the card, that's the light self-propelled battery. So the Russians had this 76.2, I think, millimeter gun. And they liked it.
Big bad boom.
And they'd made lots of them, so they're tooled up to make lots more. So there's just an increasing number of vehicles start mounting this weapon. So this is the same gun that's on the the T-34, I think.
Okay.
Fundamentally
so
the same.
It's got a bit of punch then.
Yeah, but for 1945,
but not a massive punch.
Not so much. Yeah. But it's described as light artillery. It's on a very small chassis with a tiny little crew compartment in the back.
It's like a little tractor, man.
It's cute, right?
Looking at that.
With an open canopy at the back, with this little gun in it, the 76mm gun. You have the option A. You can use it as in a door knocker type role. It's on a pretty mobile platform. You can whiz up and bomb out a farm or something with it, direct fire, or you can fire it indirect. As an artillery battery.
Multi-purpose, yeah.
What's
it like on the tabletop?
So on the tabletop, it is, as far as artillery, you get 72. So you get 3 of them in here.
I've got 3.
We probably should mention the numbers. So 3-gun battery, this is 12 points. And that's to reflect that versatility, because as a bombardment, you got anti-tank power of 2, which isn't great, but against top armor, it can do something. Firepower is 4 up, which again, it is a very light for a field gun.
Yeah.
But in direct fire mode, you've got halted 2, moving 1 rate of fire, anti-tank power 9 and a 3 up firepower.
I mean, it's not nothing.
It's not the best. It's like a decent mid-war tank.
Okay, cool.
Or a cheap late war tank. It's all right, and it can perform both of those roles. The reality of the matter is, though, it is open topped. It is largely unarmored, so it's got 4 front armor, 1 side, and 0 on top.
Is it cheap enough to warrant having mounds of them?
Well, because it's artillery, it's inherently fairly expensive, isn't it? So 3 vehicles at 12 points. So what's that? 4 point a vehicle. 5 points will get you a Sherman 76, which is a much better tank. But this can fire as artillery.
Yeah.
And again, compared with the late war stuff, this thing has got a skill rating of veteran. So if you play mid-war Soviets, you can't fire indirectly because the guys can never range in, because their skill is terrible. So you're often needing 6s to range in. These guys have got a skill of 3 up.
So they have a chance.
So they can. And it's also careful, hit on a 4, which for Soviets
that's a big deal, man. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is a hero light self-propelled artillery battery. So you got 3 of them in there. I think in other lists you might be able to take more of them. Interestingly, this is such a successful vehicle, they're still using them in Korea, which is like 10 years later. And not something,
right.
You know, it's some, filling a gap in a sort of battlefield role, maybe.
Yeah.
Mobility, reliability, all that kind of stuff. Nice inclusion. That is not the only artillery that's in here now.
It is not.
But what are you going for next? So that is the Su-76. You can take that as an integral unit as well. That's a 0-1 within the HQ.
Where's the other gun?
The other gun,
Su-100.
the Su-100. That. So the Su-100.
This is the same but different.
No, that's a tank destroyer.
Oh.
Or a self.
It's a big bada boom. Yeah.
Right. So the Su-100 is on a T-34 hull, I think.
Where's the rest of it?
Yes, that's the tracks and so forth.
Through me, different colours. On the
Different
sprue.
generations of sprue.
Whoa.
We can come to that. So the Su-100 is to the T-34 what the Stug is to the Panzer III. It's like we can put a bigger gun in the same platform that we're already tooled up to make.
Sweet.
If we mount it in the hull,
right,
rather than in the turret.
Okay.
So this has got a 100mm gun, which is a big gun for World War II stat. Tiger's got an 88mm gun.
100 mil.
And the stats do reflect that. It has an anti-tank power of 15.
Ouch.
That's approaching Team Yankee numbers.
Yeah, that's like modern.
Yeah. Firepower 2 up. But it does have the slow firing rule, and it only has a halted and moving rate of fire of 1. The slow firing means you get a hit penalty when you move.
Okay.
So if you want to hit on normal numbers,
just got
you get 1 shot stationary.
Yeah.
The kit itself, then, there's 2 different bits, and you'll probably know different dates.
So this has got 2013 for the main hull section.
Yeah.
And then the track systems
are older.
Are even older, yeah, 2012.
Are even older, yeah.
So they're old, both.
So this bit here, this I think goes back to before they maybe had a plastic T-34.
Oh.
So there are bits on here that were designed to fit old resin and metal kits, perhaps.
Oh.
And a variety of potential versions they might build later. So if you get a T-34, if you buy a T-34, you're going to get this and a different second sprue.
Yeah, it does look, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it's got 2 upper holes because it also makes their Su-85.
How did I not even
What is that?
I didn't even bother to recognise that, yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
I think it also makes the Su-85. And again, so that's an earlier iteration of this, which has got the 85mm gun, which is an improvement from the 76mm gun.
So it's, constant upgrades.
So this Su-800, this Su-100 is pretty late, and it's a big gun for a World War II tank. And the points reflect that. Again, it's 19 for 3, so over 6 each. With no, it's not getting any cheaper because 5 of them is 31. So it's still just a little bit over 6 points. Maybe there's a slight discount. I'm getting 5 of these in a unit.
Right.
But again, it's careful hit-on force. For Soviets, that's largely unknown. Hit-on 4? And they're fearless, and they've got the veteran skill rating. This gun is fantastic.
It's
I think this is
powerful.
a stonking vehicle. It is a support option.
Right, so it's not your main morale jobby.
It's not your main morale jobby, but an anti-tank power of 15.
Is that excessive, maybe?
It's not excessive, because it's a big gun by World War II standards. Yeah, the Pershing's got like a 90mm gun on it, I think. The Firefly, the 17-pounder, is a 90-ish mil gun. Rivet counters will tell me I'm wrong, and it's 84 or something
but
like
still,
that.
yeah, big.
100mm, yeah. A 100mm high-velocity gun is a heck of a gun by World War II vehicle standards, but I don't think you see this until pretty late on. And it can take out anything. What I will say, and this is more my sort of Team Yankee experience than Flames of War, is I've played with like the T-80s, you know, played with the big Soviet gun tanks.
Yeah.
And that lower rate of fire on expensive vehicles makes them not as good as they first appear to be. Because you just don't put out the shots in the game.
This is a dice game, and the more dice...
And this one, if you move it, you've got a penalty.
Yeah.
You know, so... And you're often hitting on 5s or 6s, so a +1 penalty is pretty grim.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, but only being able to take the one shot on an expensive... Is it going to kill as much as it cost? You know,
Possibly not.
That kind of question. Because it isn't tough. It's a T-34. It's a 7 front armour.
It's nothing special regardless of its armour.
5 at the side. It's not rubbish. You're not going to shoot it up with a 20mm, but
that's a big old target, because this looks rather intimidating.
Yeah, and I would say if I'm coming up against something like that, I would prioritise a vehicle like that. It's easy to kill, but it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So that's exploitable,
who knows?
Right?
Well, yeah, true. You can spend.
I can put
19 points on having a massive bullet magnet,
yeah,
and then
absolutely.
focus on doing the other stuff.
And you get, was it 3 of them?
There's 3 of those,
Three of those.
over 6 sprues. Obviously,
if you wanted to build SU-85s, get on their website, have a look.
They do show you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which bit goes with which?
They usually don't tell you in here.
They only show you what is meant to be.
This is for beginners. Yeah.
And it shows you the components for the SU-100 only.
Yeah.
Can we do... what's this? Is this the same?
No.
No. Cool. Well, then let's do that one.
Let's do that one, okay? So that is
like
the ZSU M17. So
which I was the anti-aircraft, is it?
So this is another bit of Lend-Lease gear.
Oh!
So this is a US M4, M5, M3.
It is. But it's called an M60.
Yeah, so it's an American half-track with anti-aircraft weapons mounted in the rear. So an American designation, I think it is an M17, and I think that reflects the armament that it has. But the Soviet ZSU designation is their designation for anti-aircraft artillery.
Right.
So I think they just stuck that at the front. So
Bish bash bosh.
Yeah. So this is an interesting kit from a design perspective, right? There's a
whole lot of gubbins.
There's a whole lot of gubbins.
There's a lot of different gun options. 2020 it says.
2020. Yeah. Because in truth, this will make the M15, the M16, the M17.
A lot of options.
Yeah. And what they are is there's one that's a cannon in the middle and some 50 cals at the side.
Seeing that, yeah.
They're quite different combinations. If you're making this as the Soviet one, you do specifically need to make the one, and it is the quad 50 cal.
Quad.
Yeah. So and they're really cool looking.
They are awesome. They got like big drum mags as well.
These continue to be very useful late war, and let's see if the stats reflect it. Especially, I know the Americans did a lot, but I can't imagine why the Soviets would. They didn't need AA. The Luftwaffe are gone.
It's gone, yeah, but it's still
this
usable.
Is 450 cals.
Just suppression at one building.
Yeah. Area suppression and a vehicle platform. You can carry a lot of bullets in a vehicle. Yeah. So to churn these out. So this is a kit you need to put a little bit of time into, because there's a lot of different options.
You've built some of you.
Yeah, but not for this list.
Right.
You need to make sure you've got the right pieces for the gun that you're going to make the gun sub-assembly, and so forth, and glue the truck together sort of separately from that, because again, it's one of these. There's a central piece with a bit of the cabin that you're going to glue everything else to. While things are wet, you don't want to be trying to put more things on. I found kind of let key areas dry once you know how it's all going to fit. Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't a complicated kit to build. It wasn't fiddly.
You needed to do it in a specific order.
You needed to do it in order, yeah. And so again, the shape of the what do the Americans call them, fenders. The mud guards. The wheel guards. So you're gluing them on separately, and that's because they've got this really kind of rounded shape to them. And I think they have to mould things in these injection moulds.
Again, it's more
in line. And that's just how that's played out, really, to get it on. But it's kept the authentic shape. So there's just a few more pieces than you will be used to. And it's worth building it in stages, I think.
That's cool.
But you build
Get
3
or
or 4
4
of them at once.
Yeah, boom. A bit more time with it.
On the table, this is also integral to the formation. So this helps you with formation morale, this unit.
Cool.
It does have the dedicated AA, and in the game, unlike in reality, you might get bombed. So you might want these. They are
The Luftwaffe might be around.
the last 3 pilots. There probably were a handful of raids in the Berlin campaign, because the handful of things that were left will have been thrown.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything significant.
Nothing notable, but...
there could be. I'm not an expert. But as I said, this does have the kind of numbers that you might expect. It's got a halted rate of fire of 5 and a range of 20 inches. And tank factor only 4, so it's not really going to do much against armoured vehicles. And a firepower of 5 up. But against infantry, 3 of these is putting out 15 dice.
Get some pinning
at a range
easily.
Outside of bazookas and so forth, and Panzerfaust. You can stand off with this and chuck 15 dice a turn for 3 points.
Yep. I'm taking all of them.
Are you in?
That's it. I'm all of them, please.
Yes. And it's part force morale.
Yeah. I'm taking only these.
On the flip side, any of those light vehicles are food for light vehicles.
Armour 1.
Things with guns that can't kill the top end tanks.
Are going to kill these.
Can kill these. Yeah, absolutely.
Mate, this is a cheese list coming. I can see a cheese list coming on.
100 of these.
Oh, yeah.
You can only take 3 of them. Solid inclusion. We'll get to the crew figures and stuff at the end.
Yes, definitely. This one here says something.
T-70.
What? T-70, yeah.
T-70 Soviet mid-war light tank.
I was about to say, it looks lickle.
It is tiny. It also uses car engines.
I mean, that's going to keep it rolling.
This was the kind of T-60, T-70, the light tank philosophy. It took a while to die in the Soviet doctrine. Even when they knew it was a bad doctrine, they still had the capacity to build a lot of these.
Something's better than nothing, right?
Well, turns out not when the other guys have got anti-tank weapons at company level. They got to a lot of these kind of light vehicles in the mid-war. So this is the sort of the last version of the Soviet light tank. They still have them in very large numbers. In the game, the T-70 has got, I think it's got a 45mm gun. So you've got an anti-tank power of 7 and a 4-up firepower. It's overworked. It's a 2-man vehicle.
Oh dear.
There's a driver, and then there's a guy who does everything else, who is called the commander. But it's clearly like
surely the driver's the commander in this situation.
The driver's probably got more capacity to think than the guy who's the commander.
Spinning around,
the gunner, the loader, etc.
Oh man.
Yeah, and there's even, I think, a coax machine gun in this.
T-70 MG.
So the thing about this thing having car engines, and you're going to see that it's got a cross of 4-up. This does not have a good kind of power to weight ratio. But not only could it be manufactured in a car plant rather than in a tractor factory or a locomotive factory, so it could be done more locally, but it can be repaired at one. So that was kind of part of the thinking, is these things are not taking capacity that we have for the real equipment. We're building these sort of additionally, and we use an entirely different sort of plant. Yeah.
But what use is that though? If as you're saying.
The use of it is when you stop being a war gamer and start fighting a war. These things can't fight tanks.
But
if the German army's got 3 million men facing you and 1,500 tanks, You can put 200 of
everything.
these somewhere where they don't have any tanks.
Yeah, true.
So these are often used with cavalry divisions or to just give some armoured support to infantry formations. You know, the kind of Soviet motor rifle might have some of these. And when I say some of these, I mean hundreds.
Yeah.
You know.
Some in Soviet terminology.
And that's what this vehicle is going to give you. On the table, it's got a tactical move of 10 inches. It's not got good dash speeds. You know, it only goes up to even 20 on a road, which is not remarkable. The gun is terrible because it's overworked. It's only got 4 armour. It's got an aggressive crew, hit on a 3.
Not the best.
But it costs 3 points for 3 vehicles. It's a pointer vehicle. It's got a machine gun on it. And if you spend 6 turns shooting at me with a 6-point vehicle, you wasted your time.
True fact.
This thing is just as capable of holding an objective as anything else.
Yeah, it's different, isn't it, on the tabletop?
This thing, nobody wants to shoot at it. It's like, if I'm shooting at that, it's because there really isn't another target out there for me. So I like them.
You like them? Because of that?
But yeah, absolutely. I think they'll survive longer on the table than they ought to because a real player doesn't want to shoot them.
No, definitely. There's other, tasty
anything
targets.
is more important than this.
Okay.
Because even the terrible gun on it is overworked.
Yeah. But it's an annoyance and it can hold an objective, as you say.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can shoot light vehicles if it can hit.
True fact. Right. Last dude. Last sprue. Kadyusha.
Or Stalin's organ.
Oh, wow. That's unfortunate.
Not that organ. Bit of an organ.
Okay.
Church organ. You've been to one of them.
Sorry, yeah.
John? Right, okay. So, what do you know about this, John?
It goes whoosh.
It really does. It goes whoosh.
Yeah, when they fire.
Yeah.
Lots of random indirect fire rockets.
Yeah. So, rockets...
What do you know about it?
Rockets. So, the Germans have been working with the Nebelwerfers for a while. This is the kind of the Soviet response to it. But they've got a lot more trucks.
Okay.
They've got trucks to spare. Germany does not have enough transport capacity of any type. So you don't see... They do mount some on half tracks. But the Germans... Now, interestingly... Many of these actually were made with is it Studebakers? They were made on the American trucks.
Is this Lend-Lease again, is it? They just sent loads
Lend-Lease again,
trucks.
yeah. Because, this is a brand new truck, just send it straight to the depot, have it fixed up as one of these. That's not that these kind of gas trucks weren't used for this, but a lot of them were made with the new American trucks. Because they'd be sent over in batches. So this has got a rail on the back. With a series
it's literally just
it is rails upon which the
just
rockets...
poon the rockets off of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's craziness.
And so because you think of it as a more modern weapon system, the point about rockets is they're cheap. A cannon, sort of a 105mm cannon, a 150mm cannon, even 76mm cannon.
A lot of precision.
Is a precision engineered bit of gear. It takes time to make. It takes time. The machines that rifle the barrels, it's not like zip and you're done. These things take
slow bore.
Very, very slow, very, very precise. Yeah, and if it isn't precise, it won't work.
Well, this is a tube.
This is very imprecise.
Tube stuffed with gunpowder,
screwed together on the back of a truck, because. And the rocket, again, it's just propellant, a delivery system, and a cheap aluminium casing or something. These things can be manufactured very quickly.
They're terrifying.
It's
and still deadly, right?
It makes a lot of noise. It delivers. So it's
sort of deadly.
It's not that the rocket is more deadly than a shell. It's that to fire that many shells at once requires a lot of very expensive guns. So think how many rockets you can fire at once. If these things are like 16 rockets, trucks lined up next to each other, you'd have cannons for half a mile to achieve the same rate of fire and saturation. So it's not, and it's not even that the one rocket is more destructive, it's that when there's one rocket, there's going to be bloody loads of rockets coming very, very rapidly. So it has a real sort of shock and awe.
Big psychological effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you know that, if you've heard about these Kadyushas firing at you.
Yeah, and
I'd run away.
And in 20 minutes' time, they're probably going to fire again. Because the guys come
Still
out and
up.
they just line up more rockets on the rail, and then they light the touch paper, and off it goes again.
Bleeding grim.
But it's the ability to saturate.
Yeah.
Yeah, round for round, they're not bad. As a kit, again, I find it quite reasonable. James has got some of these. He's had them before. But it's a really iconic piece of Soviet equipment.
Yeah.
So
beautiful.
They are.
You only get 2.
You only get 2 in here, so a pair of them is going to cost you 4 points. So they come out as a little bit cheaper than the Su-76s. You obviously cannot direct fire these things.
I mean, if you jack up the back, you might be able to get enough.
They're aggressive and hit on 3s.
Ah, yes.
They're soft skins, so it's the way soft skins work.
Just roll into wound, right?
You don't have to penetrate.
Yeah,
but like infantry, they just got to save.
Yeah.
That's it. And the save is 5 up, so that's not that likely.
Oh, wow.
So you can shoot these guys up with a whole bunch of things. But it fires the salvo template, which is much bigger than the artillery template. It's like a 12-inch thing.
Really?
I think.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's a bigger template, much bigger, and it's got a firepower of 4 up. So you get a lot of coverage. The problem, if there is a problem with the Katyusha, is the range is quite limited compared with cannon. It's thousands of yards, but it's not miles.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the accuracy of that is quite low. So although it does go over quite a wide area, it's not something to shell.
There's a reason it goes over a wide area.
Yeah, so
because it's supremely inaccurate.
Yes. So shell in trenches, there's a lot of soil gets thrown up into the air, for example.
Very scary.
Because that's a really narrow target. There are layers of them, but it's going to keep your head down. So yeah, the salvo template. So in this, you're only getting a pair. I don't like the 2-gun battery in Flames of War, because rather than reducing the saturation zone, Flames of War models it that it's lower intensity.
Yeah, so therefore
and what you do is, if you hit, you have to re-roll, and with the chance of failing. You're thinking, I re-roll my hits, that's great. So no. Anytime you hit, you roll again to see if you miss.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
And it's not the statistics, not the maths of it. It's the feeling robbed of it that bugs me. It's like I hit until you made me re-roll the dice. So, yeah. So with these, I personally don't like the 2-gun template. So I probably wouldn't use these
especially
as a
considering,
pair.
as you're saying, I've not seen it.
But it does cover a huge area. You're going to kill things.
Which is great, but then you get minuses.
So you're going to
hit.
roll a lot of dice.
Yeah.
When you do that, yeah. And it's got a skill rate of 4 up, so you are going to be able to fire it indirectly, which you'll need to, because I would definitely shoot these with anything, because it doesn't have an armor rating.
Pistol.
I don't. Yeah, absolutely. And your range, so because Flames of War is a company level game, it's got a 64-inch range.
It's intended for
64 inches is most of it. You can't fire corner to corner on a 6-foot table.
No.
But as long as you haven't deployed yours in a corner and want to shoot the other corner, you
Sort of thing I'd do.
Pretty much get anywhere on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Cool.
All right.
That's all your vehicles.
Coming to talk about last few bits. You get your manual.
Always good.
Manual. This is, what is it, 2019? How many of these you got now, John? We reviewed a lot of these.
You do have many. But that means if you have friends, if you're lucky enough to have them.
I don't have any friends who play war games and don't have one of these from me now, I don't think. But anyway.
You get your bases. I don't know why I opened it. Is there anything different about these?
Enough bases. I don't think so.
No.
I think I had a few left over, but maybe I got the wrong bag.
Well, that's cool.
And you get base plugs.
You get little plugs, yeah.
So when you make the Maxim gun, you're not going to fill all 4 slots.
Okay. Do they all come with 4 standard? The sort of rifle base?
Yes, there are 4-hole bases.
Perfect.
They do make a 5-hole base because their rules around infantry stands used to be different.
Ah, I see. There you go. You get all of those.
You get enough of those to make the infantry platoon, which we call a company in Soviet terms. Everything is one tier up. In this. And then you get the Psyocast bits. So this is your...
I've got drivers here by the looks of it.
You've got drivers, yeah, absolutely.
This is going to be for anything open topped, I guess. Possibly? I don't know.
That's the seated ones. I think they are for the...
They've got steering wheels, so they're going to be truck drivers.
Yeah. But the ZSU's got a closed cabin.
So what are they for? Oh, the M5 things. The
M5, yes, that's right. You've got two kind of trucks with things on the back. Yes, it's for the M5.
Or whatever it's called.
And one of the guys, so there's a guy that sits in the gun carriage.
Oh, the actual shooty bit.
The actual shooty bit, yeah.
Like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not quite as bullshit. But yeah, that idea.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's for them.
And then you've got a set of 3, a set of 2 times 3 standing guys, and this is your Su-76 crew.
The open back one.
Yeah, which is open topped at the back.
Nice.
And these are standing, so you will just about see them kind of over the top. I like crew figures, and the lazy modeler and painter in me always thinks, can I get away with not doing this?
Yeah, but it looks wrong without having
anybody in.
It's proper world of tanks, you know.
There's no people here.
There's nobody, but the gun still fires miraculously.
Yeah, how does that work?
Well, open back.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm glad they include them. Isn't that sometimes when you get starter kits, they just skimp on a few bits, like the decals maybe, or
yeah.
Like
why
that.
would you do that? Yeah.
And they don't. You go right down to having, you know,
there is the option. You don't have to, obviously.
Because they're not required for gameplay. That vehicle, no one's going to say, I'm not playing against you.
You can't fire that gun, mate.
Nobody's driving it or whatever. You get a couple of vehicle crews. Now, interestingly, there are so many commander crews. There are so many vehicles in here that you've got 12. I think this may be the first kit where I've got more vehicles than commander crews. But
challenge accepted.
Actually, though, we just talked about the open topped ones, so you could only potentially have 4, 7, 10. Yeah, so you've still got enough.
10, you've still got enough.
Because the others have different crew figures.
6 on each of these.
There, yeah. You know, even as I was saying it, I was thinking,
you figured it out, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But that's good.
Different
There's options.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
I only use one of those to
That's the lead tank, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We seem to have come to an abrupt end, sir.
We've come to an abrupt end. So, value for money. These things this set's gone up recently. I think they're now 90 UK pounds.
Everything's gone up recently.
Everything in the world is going up at the moment. But you get 4, 7, 10, 12, 15, 18 vehicles and 2 crew sprues, so 20 items. I still think it's good value. The range of kit in it is curious in that there are lots of different things.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like that from a modelling perspective.
I do as well.
Like, it's varied. It's not going to be just...
And if you've got existing kits, then this is going to, you know, if you bought a previous Soviet box, you might already have 2 Katyushas.
Yeah, so you can...
For example. Or
bring everything together.
Yeah, you can kind of bring things together. And this has got... although some of this stuff like the Su-100 is very late war, most of this you can use even as early as 43.
Oh yeah, that's it.
You know,
this is a late war. This is
super late war. Yeah. But I think only the Su-100 is actually that. You know, you need to be that late to get it. So I think the value for money is great. Delighted to see the Sherman M4
the little.
Because they don't need to do it.
No,
they have done.
That's kind of sweet.
So for the people that really care about it, they've made that in the same hard plastic that we all know and love.
Love it. I tell you, this is 73 points of awesomeness if you go by the book.
Yeah?
Out the start
Did they go
your
for
new
the
army.
foot command or did they go for... They did!
They did, yeah. Pro move then.
Pro move, see? I knew it. They went to use the foot team so you can have all 4 Shermans there. Absolutely. Adding the HMG teams as well, which you can make a pair of.
Perfecto.
Very nice.
And it even tells you what to do next, so just buy it.
Absolutely. I think it's a good one. Well, I'm building not exactly this list, but I'm building a Berlin Soviet list as we speak.
Delve into the Berlin.
We're going to do the whole Berlin thing because James has got mid-war painted for winter.
Right.
Yeah. So with that, we're very much kind of...
That's covered.
Yeah. But Berlin is not snowing. We'd noticed that in the photographs. So a lot of white tanks and dudes with
would be a bit odd.
Doesn't look right. So I'm working on that second Soviet list.
Well, there we go.
Well, guys, I hope this was of interest to you and useful. Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye. If you're still here and you're looking for ways to support the channel, there's obviously a lot of ways down in the description, but a key way is to use our affiliate links to Whaling Games and others. You buy your models from them, it doesn't cost you a penny more, and we earn a little bit of commission. Thank you.
It's fucking great start.
I got a big lump in my throat. Gob, yeah.
I'm a bit cleggy too, so I might end up having a coughing fit.
It's like I had a lump halfway down. It brought as soon as I opened my larynx. It popped back up. Hello and welcome.